Everybody with me? Fine. So we are talking about today soft tissue management in fixed prosthodontics, followed by impression in fixed prosthodontics. So today we will be concentrating only on the final impression. What are the materials to be used and which are the techniques to be used. This we will be preferably dealing with the clinical aspect. So are going to see what is basically the meaning of gingival tissue retraction, why we need this gingival tissue retraction, what is the significance, why we do this gingival tissue retraction. Then we are going to see what are the methods and material, because we have mechanical method, we have chemico mechanical method. So we will be using some material, we will be using some instruments, so all that we are going to look at. And then we are going to see what are the impression materials and what are the different techniques to be used and where that techniques are being used for your fixed prosthodontics final impression. So the reason why we give or why we do gingival tissue retraction. Now basically retraction everybody knows. We have already seen this gingival tissue retraction before. It is a retraction of the gingiva. Why we do that retraction of the gingiva? First of all, when you prepare your finish line which is equigingival or subgingival, you need to take care of your periodontium, right? So if you are going for subgingival finish line, you are supposed to retract the gingiva so that your visibility will increase and it will be easier for operator to prepare that finish line. This is the first reason we do gingival tissue retraction. Second, we do this gingival tissue retraction because there is lot of saliva which is coming out, or there is sometimes there is blood, gingival clavicular fluid is coming oozing out. So when you take your final impression, that time you need a complete isolation. So to achieve that isolation with the help of your gingival tissue retraction, you are trying to isolate the area so that you will get 100% accurate impression. That this is the second reason we do the gingival tissue retraction. And the third reason, we need to have excellent impression details with our final impression, because that is the impression, that is the step where maximum amount of precision can be gained. If your impressions are not good, if there is any kind of void or air bubble or anything rough surface is there, your final prosthesis, all the problems will be reflected with your final prosthesis or your definitive prosthesis. So impression is one of the most important step for your success of fixed partial denture. So these are the three reasons because of which we are doing your gingival tissue retraction. Fluid control. So when we talk about fluid control in oral cavity, there are fluids. Your saliva is there, your gingival clavicular fluid is oozing out, then your water spray is also there. Sometimes if there is damage to the periodontium or soft tissue, the blood is coming. So all these fluids you have to manage at the time of your preparation, at the time of your impression making, and at the time of cementation also, because these are the steps where you need complete isolation, where you don't need any interference. For example, when you are taking impression, final impression, now maximum impression materials, they are hydrophobic impression material, means they hate water. So if there is some kind of saliva present around the teeth or into the sulcus, it will be reflected with your impression as a void, and that is not absolutely acceptable. So that is the reason we have to control this fluid. So there are different methods to control the fluid. The commonest method used is your putting the cotton roll or gauze piece into the sulcus all around the preparation site. So this will suck your fluid, right? So this is one of the method to control the fluid. Second method we have, this is only for mandibular. So basically what this Saviodator is doing is, it is going to reflect your tongue, and along with that tongue retractor, there is a device which is acting as a suction tip, right? So it is a combination of retraction of the tongue and suction device from your suction. So this is second method to control the fluid, and it will suck your saliva, it will suck your whatever aerosols are created by your handpiece, that will also be sucked by your device. Then we have a rubber dam, which is one of the most common and worldwide accepted method to gain the isolation. But rubber dam, in each and every case we cannot use rubber dam. There are certain indications for using the rubber dam. Second and the last method we have is your either normal suction method or your high vacuum suction, which we are using in our clinics. So by that also you can control your fluid, so that you can achieve proper isolation, so to proceed with the further procedure. So these are the fluid control methods to be used of your final impression. Now coming to the fluid control, now this is a second part of that fluid control. We have certain drugs to control this fluid, like your anticellular drugs are there, like atropine, diclomine. So all these drugs you are supposed to give around 30 minutes before to your patient, so that he will be relaxed and there will be less secretion of the saliva, and you will get proper isolation. There are local anesthetic agent available, like your lidocaine, which is very commonly used. So these are also can be administered. So how the line of action of this local anesthetic? The nerve impulse from the periodontal ligament, which are part of mechanism of saliva secretion, are blocked, and as these are blocked, there will be less saliva secretion and you will get isolation. So these are certain drugs that you can use to control the fluid. These drugs has to be administered before start of your preparation, at least 15 minutes before to start your preparations. Gingival tissue retraction, basically according to the glossary of the prosthodontic term definition of gingival tissue retraction, it is the deflection of the marginal gingiva away from the tooth surface. That means you are deflecting, retracting, or slightly removing, displacing the gingiva away from the margin, so that you can have access to the operating field. This is the gross definition of your gingival tissue retraction. Gingival retraction is the deflection of marginal gingiva away from the tooth structure. So now purpose, already I told you why we do gingival tissue retraction. We have to take impression, we have to control the fluid, and we have to do the preparation. So these are the three. For restoration in the cervical region, whenever you have a cervical caries, you have to do the first you have to remove the carious lesion, then you have to do the restoration of that carious lesion. Sometimes when you have no accessibility or no visibility in the cervical area, first of all we are supposed to go with the gingival tissue retraction to proceed for the treatment of that cervical lesion. Then preparation of the finish line, I already explained you. If you are going for the equigingival finish line or subgingival finish line, it is better to retract the gingiva and gain the visibility, so that you can properly fabricate or properly prepare the finish line without damaging the adjacent soft tissues, because if you damage the adjacent of soft tissues, that damage is irreversible, so you might create problem for the aesthetic. So it is better to retract the gingiva, gain the accessibility, and then proceed. And the last one we have, for accurate impression, we have to control the all the fluid, gingival clavicular fluid is oozing out from the sulcus, so you have to control that fluid, and the best way to control is by putting the gingival retraction cord into the sulcus, and it will block your clavicular fluid and you will get proper isolation for your final impression. To the gingival tissue retraction method, basically we have mechanical method, which is plain method, where you have a retraction cord that you are going to pack into the sulcus without using any chemical. The moment you use chemical along with your retraction cord, the method changes and it will call as a chemico-mechanical method, because we are using some drugs. What are that drugs? We will see in another slide. The last method we have is surgical method for gingival tissue retraction. Unfortunately, surgical method is irreversible method. Once you do the retraction with this surgical method, you cannot reverse the condition. So this is the biggest drawback with surgical method of gingival tissue retraction. But still there are certain cases where you need to use this surgical method. Now using this surgical method, there are electrodes are there which burn your marginal tissues. Nowadays we have lasers which will remove that unwanted cervical tissues so that you can gain the access, but all these methods are irreversible, as I said before. And second thing is, when you are using the current to burn that gingiva, the bad smell is coming, which is very unpleasant for your patient. So these are the three methods. First, gingival tissue retraction. Basically, mechanical method we can do by three types. One is by using the rubber dam, but as I said earlier, rubber dam indicated not for each and every case. There are certain indications for using the rubber dam. Second, we have retraction cord, which is one of the commonest method, and it can be used in each and every scenario. You can have different sizes of retraction cord to take care of different sizes of the sulcus, because every tooth is having different size in the sulcus. So according to that, you have to select the retraction cord. And the last is your copper band. Now copper band, we were using this copper band long back before, but nowadays very rarely this copper band technique is used. The drawback for this copper band technique is you are able to do the gingival tissue retraction only for one tooth. It's like your prefabricated crowns. In prefabricated crown, provisional crowns, you can only give provisional restoration for the single crown, not for the bridges, right? So that was a drawback. So similarly here also with the copper band, you can do the retraction only and only for one particular tooth. If you want to do it for another tooth, you have to again reuse, use the copper band. So that was a drawback with your copper band. Secondly, we were unable to visualize whether the retraction is proper or not, and sometimes if the operator is not properly trained, then you might damage the soft tissue. So all these were drawbacks with your copper band. That is the reason we have not using copper band commonly nowadays. We have other good methods for retraction, that is your retraction cord technique. Jump regarding the retraction cord. Now we have different retraction cord. Sometimes they are available in color coding, sometimes they are available in number. So 000, that means it's very small. 00, it is little bigger as compared to 000. 1, 2 and 3, the size goes on increasing. So these are the different sizes of rubber band which you can be seen during your clinical posting. And for using this for using this retraction cords, we have a cord packer. This is a small device. The tip is pointed like your plastic instrument which you are using for your restoration. So this device is same like that. Only thing is, as you can see, the magnification of this instrument, the tip is little curved so that it can properly place your retraction cord into the sulcus, because your sulcus is not straight, it is having a curvature. So as per the curvature of your sulcus, the tip is slightly curved, so that you can properly place that cord into the sulcus. We have some video clips so that you will understand how to do the gingival tissue retraction. Now when you do this gingival tissue retraction, it is a very delicate procedure. You have to take care of the gingiva. You are not supposed to tug that retraction cord into the sulcus. If you apply excess pressure, you might damage the periodontium. There will be compromised with your biological width, and that damage will be irreversible damage. So unnecessarily you will create problem in for future. So it is better to have a delicacy or a delicate hand at the time of your gingival tissue retraction. Generally what is happening is, now you know what is calculus, stains and all, right? So when you do the scaling and polishing, we are all calculus we are removing from the cervical portion, but sometimes a small amount of calculus is there in the sulcus, which is unnoticed. We are not knowing that there is a calculus, and when you try to tug your retraction cord into that area, that calculus won't allow our retraction cord to go inside, because it is stuck with the teeth and there is no space for our retraction cord to go inside. So sometimes you apply excessive pressure without noticing that calculus. So whenever you want to do the retraction, first of all you are supposed to check the sulcus with the help of your periodontal probe. Make sure there is no calculus or stain around your cervical area. Generally before you start your preparation, we are doing your periodontal treatment, and then only we can start prosthetic treatment. But sometimes it is unnoticed if your periodontist has not properly done, or your hygienist failed to do the scaling and polishing properly, or if there is a long period of time between the scaling and polishing and your tooth preparation, the calculus is there. So you have to check whether the sulcus is clear or not, and then you can start your retraction. So when you do the retraction, you are supposed to first check how much amount of width we have in the sulcus, and depending upon that width you have to select the different sizes of the cord. As you can see on the screen, we have different sizes. We have 000, 00, 1, 2, 3. So depending upon the size, you can select the cord and then you can place that cord into the sulcus. So these are the retraction cords. Either they are available in color coding or they are available in sizes. Generally the commonest method we are preferring is the sizes, depending upon the size, and that is the method which is accepted worldwide. Color coding, only few companies they are using color coding, so it is not that common. And the device is your cord packer, by which you sulcus. Now coming to the chemico-mechanical method. So first let us see how to do the retraction. Now on your screen you are looking at the cord packer and a retraction cord. So gently we are packing this cord into the sulcus, and when you pack this, make sure you should not damage to the cervical tissues. You can take help of your periodontal probe. You can ask your assistant to hold the cord from one side, and from the free end you can pack your cord gently. Now this is very delicate step. You need to have patience for doing this retraction cord. Yes, local anesthesia we have to give, infiltration you have to give, so that your patient will be having full comfort, otherwise he will feel pain. This is double cord technique. What are the different techniques? We will see that. Double cord technique means you place a smaller cord inside, and on the top of that you put a bigger cord, so you get a retraction. And when you take impression, the upper cord, which is bigger one, you remove that cord and then you take the impression. So when you remove your impression, sometimes the smaller cord, which is already packed in the sulcus, it comes out with the impression. That is acceptable. Sometimes it stays into the sulcus, that is also acceptable, and you can remove anytime. So this is method and the drugs which we have to use for your chemico-mechanical method. uh, these are the different liquids which you have to take into the Dappen dish. Then the retraction cord, which I have shown you with different sizes. According to the size you have to select the cord. According to the diameter of the tooth, if it is molar you need bigger size, bigger length. If it is anterior mandibular you need smaller in length. So depending upon the tooth circumference you have to cut the retraction cord and dip that retraction cord into these chemicals, into these drugs. Let it soak this drug, and then you have to pack that retraction cord into the sulcus. As these chemicals, they have certain action to control the bleeding, to stop the clavicular fluid, and along with this there will be combination of mechanical retraction because of that retraction cord. So it is a combination. So these are the drugs. Epinephrine, one of the commonly used drug for your chemico-mechanical method. Second will be your alum, which is one of the most commonly used. Then we have aluminum chloride, ferric sulfate is there, tannic acid is there. All these chemicals, they have advantages and disadvantages. Some chemicals are contraindicated for some systemic diseases. So when you read that systemic diseases, you will come to know that these are the drugs to be avoided during your systemic diseases. So as per your need, as per your situation of the patient, you have to select the drug for your chemico-mechanical method. Now coming to the retraction technique, basically we have 4 techniques for gingival tissue retract. The commonly used method is single cord technique. As the name suggests, single cord technique, that means only a single cord is packed into the sulcus and it will retract the gingiva. Either you can use mechanical method, I mean plain retraction cord you can use, or either you can go with chemico-mechanical method where you are introducing some kind of drug and allow that retraction cord to soak that drug, and then you can do the retraction. So this is a single cord technique. Second, we have double cord technique. As I explained before, a smaller diameter cord is placed below, and on the top of that a bigger diameter cord is packed. And when you want to take the impression, the upper cord, that is bigger cord, we will remove, and the smaller cord we will allow to stay there. Make sure that smaller cord is not interfering at your finish line. It should be below the finish line. So when you allow that and when you take impression, your impression will be good. Sometimes it comes along with the impression, sometimes it stay into the sulcus. And whenever you want to, suppose it is there in the sulcus and you have removed your impression, you have to be very careful at the time of removal of this retraction cord. You have to remove that retraction cord very gently. Don't try to pull that retraction cord in one stroke, right? Because if you do that, it might tear your gingiva. Tearing, you understand? Right. So it might tear your gingiva. So you have to be very gentle at the time of removal of your retraction cord as well. Third technique, we have your infusion technique. In this infusion technique, ferric sulfate, 15 to 20% ferric sulfate is introduced into the sulcus first. Allow it to stay there for 1 to 3 minutes, and then you start your retraction of the gingiva with mechanical method. So because of this infusion of ferric sulfate, there will be control of your clavicular fluid, there will be control of your bleeding if there is a bleeding, and then on the top of that you are doing the mechanical retraction. So this is an infusion technique. And the last technique we have is every other tooth technique. Commonly we use this technique when you are doing multiple crown preparation with anteriors. So alternatively you have to do the retraction, because if you start doing the continuous retraction with anteriors, there are chances that you might damage the coal area. Coal area, you understand, the soft tissue which are present in between two teeth, that triangular soft tissue. Yeah, interdental. So you might damage that area. So for such cases, every other tooth technique can be used for, preferably for the maxillary anterior regions when you have multiple preparations. So these are the 4 basic techniques by which you can do gingival tissue retraction. I hope this is clear. Fine. Coming to the impression material. Now basically gingival tissue retraction is clear. Fine. So we will move towards impression material, which is last part of today's lecture. So this classification everybody knows. We are just having a brief regarding your impression material. Basically impression material, they are categorized as hydrocolloid impression material. Hydrocolloid impression material, you have reversible hydrocolloids, that is commonly called as your alginate. Alginate we used commonly to make your diagnostic impression, and to make the diagnostic impression you have to take the major amount of powder, that is your alginate, and major amount of liquid, that is your water. So percentage or ratio of this powder and water is already mentioned with your alginate box. So it is better whenever you are using alginate, make a habit of reading what is the mixing time, because we have 3 times. One is your mixing time, second is your working time, and third one is your setting time. So make a habit, because though we know that what is the setting time and working time and mixing time, but still it is better to read the company instruction, because every company they have different working time, setting time. Usually it is common, but it is make a habit so that you will aware that the working time, the mixing time, and the setting time of this material is this. So as per your mentioned on your packet, you have to mix the alginate in figure of 8, so that all the powder will incorporate into the water and then rub against the wall of your rubber bowl, so that all the air bubbles will be removed from the alginate, and then your mixing time is done. Then starts your working time. Working time means the moment you start loading the tray with the help of your alginate, that is your working time. Once you load the tray properly, then you have to place the tray inside the oral cavity and wait till it sets. So that is your setting time. We have alginator. Alginator is a mechanical device for mixing the alginate, right? We have 2 methods. Either you can use alginator or you can do hand manipulation. Okay. So alginate is one of the most commonly used material for making diagnostic impression. Second, we have reversible hydrocolloid, that is agar. Agar is also one of the good material which is having good elasticity, but unfortunately the costing for using agar is very high. It requires lot of armamentarium, so it is very inconvenient to use agar or reversible hydrocolloid for your diagnostic impression. Second we have is your elastomeric impression, that we use generally for your final impression. Now elastomeric impression materials, they are further subclassified into 4 different varieties. Polysulfides are there, polyethers are there, and then we have addition and condensation silicone. Addition silicone is one of the commonly used and best material for making impression. Addition silicone is also commonly called as PVS, polyvinyl siloxane impression material. In our clinic we have PVS, polyvinyl siloxane impression material. They are available in different consistencies, like your medium body, heavy body, light body. Heavy body is your putty, you are using to fabricate the putty index for your provisional, that is your heavy body. Medium body is the impression material generally used to take impression at the time of your complete denture, and the light body we are using at the time of recording of the FPD finish line preparations, right? So light body alone we cannot use, we need something to have backup for your light body, and that backup we provide either with the help of your putty, or you have to fabricate a custom tray. So what are the methods that we are going to look at? So impression material classification is cleared, right? So we have hydrocolloids, which are subclassified as reversible, irreversible. Commonly used is irreversible, that is your alginate. Then we have elastomers, which is again subdivided into 4 varieties: polyether, polysulfide, addition silicone, and your condensation silicone. making the impression for your final impression. Now we are only concentrating on final impression for your fixed partial denture cases. We are not talking about RPD or FPD. We are not talking about RPD or complete denture. So first commonly used method is your stock tray technique. It can also be used as a double mix or single mix. Stock tray impression technique, there are different sizes of the trays available in the market which you commonly see. They are made up of either metal or sometimes they are made up of plastic also. So according to the size of the jaw, you are supposed to select the tray, and the criteria for selection of the tray is that the tray should cover all the teeth, and along with that there should be also coverage of some soft tissues at the cervical area, and there should be sufficient amount of space available for your impression material so that you can properly take the impression, and the thickness of your impression material will be uniform throughout. So these are the criteria for selection of your stock tray. Second, we can fabricate a custom tray. So once you get your diagnostic impression, you can do the diagnostic wax up and you can fabricate the putty index. So once you do that, then you can fabricate a custom tray for that particular patient. So as we are fabricating a custom tray for that case, they are more accurate as compared to stock trays. Then we have double arch technique. Now the drawback with this double arch technique is that we can only record impression on one quadrant. Either it will be right side maxillary mandibular, either it will be anterior maxillary mandibular, either it will be left side. So that is a drawback with double arch technique, but this is also a very good technique if you have a single crown or two crowns joined together. Then we have copper band technique, which is not used nowadays, and matrix system is also there, which are again we are not using nowadays. The commonest method we are using is your stock tray impression technique. Now we will concentrate only on the stock tray and the custom tray. Stock tray means already I explained, either you can go with the double mix. That means first you will take impression with the help of heavy body impression material, that is your light body. Then you will create a 2 mm space all around for your light body impression material, and then second time you will introduce the light body all around your preparation and into the tray, and then you will take the impression. So that is a double mix technique. Single mix technique means your assistant will load the medium body into the tray and light body operator, that means you, will introduce into the prepared tooth surface, and the moment your assistant is done by putting the impression material into the tray, you will introduce that tray in the oral cavity. So that will be your single mix. In one step you will finish everything. In double mix you will take impression in 2 steps. So let us so these are the preparations. We have one crown preparation and laminate preparation. With the help of your heavy body impression material in the stock tray, we will take impression, allow that material to set completely. This is double mix technique because we are taking impression for 2 times. This is 1 time. So this putty impression, heavy body impression will set. Then you will remove that. Sometimes you keep spacer inside before making this impression. Sometimes after removal of this putty impression you will scrape inside and you will create 2 mm of space for your light body. Choice is yours. What you want to do, you can do it. So this is your impression. Now we will create a space, 2 mm space for your light body impression material, and after that you will remove the retraction cord. Now this is a double cord impression technique. The smaller cord is already packed inside. On the top of that we have packed the bigger size cords. These are the different consistencies of your elastomeric impression material: extra light, light body, medium body, heavy body. Now we will do the final impression with the help of extra light body or light body impression material. So first of all you have to isolate, and then you have to introduce the light body all around your preparation. Make sure it should properly flow without having entrapment of the air bubble. and then some amount of impression material you have to place inside the tray also. Explain everything, all the steps to your patient so that your patient will cooperate you properly. Don't give him any surprises, otherwise he might have gag reflex. So now we have introduced the light body into our pretty heavy body. Then we will introduce this tray again on the prepared side. So this is your double mix technique, because we have taken impression for 2 times. So double mix. In single mix, in one shot we will do everything. But instead of putty, we will be using medium body, because if you use putty, that putty will displace your light body outside. So we will not use putty. If you want to use single mix, go for medium body. Now this is the impression. You can appreciate the finish line is properly captured. This is what we want to achieve in our clinic. So I hope this is clear. Custom tray. For maxillary, the custom trays are different. For the mandibular, the custom trays are different. We have to put spacer inside. Same like your complete denture, you have to put spacer inside. But in complete denture, you don't perforate the trays. Here we are perforating the trays. Why? Because our medium body will come, a light body will come out from this hole, and there will be mechanical locking of your impression material. If there is a dislodgement of impression material and your tray, you are supposed to repeat the impression. Keep this in mind. This is true for your alginate, this is true for your final impression as well. Dislodgement of tray means when you want to remove the impression from the oral cavity, your impression material should stay with your tray. It should not dislodge. The moment you see there is a dislodgement of the impression material and the tray, if they separated, better remove everything, throw everything, discard that impression and take again new impression. If you use the same impression for pouring the cast, there will be discrepancy, occlusal discrepancy there, right? And if there is a small 1 millimeter occlusal discrepancy happened with your cast, everything will be a mess. So better to avoid this kind of problem. 1 millimeter is very small dimension. By our naked eye, we cannot see that. That is why when you remove the impression from the oral cavity, you have to be very attentive, very careful. Make sure the tray should not dislodge from the impression material. That is the reason we have prepared the escape hole on your custom tray. Along with this escape hole, we are supposed to apply the adhesives. Adhesives are available in the market along with the impression material. So you have to apply adhesive from inside. Already holes are there, and then you have to introduce the elastomeric impression material for making the impression. So we have two defense system. One is your perforation, which gives you mechanical locking. Second defense we have is adhesive, that will stick your elastomeric impression material, right? So that is the purpose of using your perforations and your adhesives. So custom tray technique, again custom tray technique, you can proceed with your double mix or single mix. This is your dual arch technique. As you can see, we have a prepared tooth which is maxillary molar, and these are the sectional trays used for double arch. So you put your medium body on both the side of the tray, then introduce this impression tray inside the oral cavity. Before that, you have to put the light body impression material all around your prepared tooth surface and on the occlusal surface of your adjacent tooth. All these things you have to do after your gingival tissue retraction. Slowly you are supposed to introduce this light body all around your abutment tooth, prepared abutment tooth, and onto the adjacent tooth also, because we need to develop the relationship with your adjacent tooth, the contact point, the occlusion, everything. So that is why we need precision all around the adjacent tooth. Generally, we use in our college, they prefer single mix, right? Stock tray, single mix. Then you have to introduce this sectional tray, ask your patient to close in centric occlusion, allow that material to set, and then you remove the impression tray from the oral cavity. Now here you will get maxillary and mandibular impression in one shot. So that is an added advantage with your double arch impression technique. But disadvantage with this technique is that at a time you can record only one quadrant. If there are bridges, this technique is not advisable. Clear? Today's takeaway, what we have learned today is gingival tissue retraction. What is gingival tissue retraction? What are the purpose for doing the gingival tissue retraction? What are the techniques and materials? We have seen different sizes of your retraction cord, the 000, 00, 1, 2, 3. So depending upon the sulcus, you can select the cord. Then we have seen the different chemicals to impregnate that retraction cord and then go for the retraction. So that was your methods for doing the gingival tissue retraction. Then we have seen different impression materials, grossly reversible hydrocolloid, irreversible hydrocolloid, and elastomeric impression materials for making your final impression. In that we have seen 4 different materials, and then we have concentrated only on the technique. Material we didn't see in depth because already the material has been taught to you in second year, third year. So it is expected that you know everything regarding your impression material. Then we have seen different impression technique, which is one of the most important step for making your final impression. So this is all we have learned today. I hope everything is clear. I will take questions now. Do you have any questions? Clear? Yes, go ahead. No, wait then. Related with the course.
For refraction cost.
Huh?
How can we determine the size of HT for the diameter?
You mean the depth of the width of the sulcus, you mean to say?
No, I mean we have
How to select the cord?
Size 1, size 2.
How to select the size of the cord? It depends on the size of your sulcus. As I said before, when you want to introduce or when you want to do the gingival retraction with the help of your periodontal probe, you have to check the depth of your sulcus. The depth of your sulcus you are checking for your periodontal charting. Am I right? Right. So when you do that evaluation, sulcus depth evaluation, that time you approximately evaluate what size of cord will be proper for that sulcus. Okay. By practice you can learn, by observation you can learn this. Maybe sometimes we are wrong, sometimes this happens. If you feel that 000, the smallest one, will work properly, so when you try to put that 000, you come to know that it is very small. So you can remove any time, you can select bigger cord, maybe 00, maybe one number, two number, whatever, and then you can place it, right? Make sure it is properly fitting all around. You have to understand whether you want to go for single cord technique or double cord technique. Usually in posteriors where there is a bigger sulcus, we go for your double cord technique. We put the cord, smaller cord inside, on the top of that we put the bigger cord, that is double cord technique. So it depends on the size of the sulcus and the position of the tooth also. By experience you will learn that. Anything else we have? Clear? Sleeping? Yes, Talal.
We just want to ask you